What's up, YouTube? What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Diamond, and I'm back at it again with another mother video. If you haven't already, man, go and hit that subscribe button and that post notification bell. Content is coming back to back so that you're not left in the dust. And you know every time that I upload, hit that bell, man. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Thumbs up this video for more content, or if you like the video. Today we're going to be talking about none other than the movie that's trending on Twitter, Fatal Affair on Netflix. Fatal Affair, starring Omar, Epps, and Nia Long. Now, if you're a 90s baby like myself, you're pretty familiar with Nia Long and Omar Epps, man. 97 over here. 97, that's me. And you remember Nia Long, you know what I'm saying? She was like the it girl, you know what I'm saying? Not, she kind of like, in my opinion, invented the little auntie style, the little choppy. Cause that was her hair was like in Friday. If I'm not, was it like that in the Boys in the Hood? No, it was like that in Friday when she was running with them last headphones, and Craig and Smokey was like, "Give me 5 minutes, maybe you 4." Make her want to marry a nigga, you feel me? They was sitting on the porch, just thought they was finna get some shit, that little Crackhead Sister by Felicia, you know what I'm saying? Or, I guess she took like Friday, Boys in the Hood, then it was like a Gap, then it was like Big Mama's House, and Are We There Yet? Are We Done Yet? So Nia has been in the industry for a minute, for a long ass minute. Omar Epps, I know a movie. Even if you don't know this name, I know a movie. I know if I name this movie, you're gonna know exactly who I'm talking about. Love and Basketball, Quincy. Love and Basketball, Quincy. He was playing Monica that whole goddamn movie, bro. And y'all idolized this shit. Or if you a real G, now if you know this one, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. The Wood. If you know about The Wood, man, go on hit that subscribe button. It's like one of my favorite black movies, man. I ain't gonna even lie. And they kind of, or what about this movie? Juice. What about Juice, man? He had the little Y'all remember them. Y'all old enough to remember them, right? Okay. So the movie is basically about Nia and Omar reuniting. They were once college buddies, and after 20 years they reunite. The movie starts with a woman and man just smashing, and then somewhere towards the middle they smash, the woman gets up, she goes to the restroom, she come back, she looking for the man, she can't find him. Where he at? Did this nigga just smash and dip? You know what I'm saying? No. That nigga dead in the tub, and then she gets killed. That's how that movie starts off, with a murder. Cut to the next scene, it's Nia and her husband. Nia plays the role of Ellie. Her husband's name is Marcus, right? They kind of have like a loveless marriage from what I got. They was just kind of like a pass and go. Only thing they talked about was their daughter that was in college, and they were moving from the city. And they ain't showing no love, man. Their marriage done dried up. You know what I'm saying? So Ellie is preparing herself to not only move, but go to a new job, like transition to a new job. She's kind of like the top of her firm, and now she wants something different. So one day she going to the office, and her boss is really excited for her to meet this new guy, and she's like, hopefully this will make you stay. And she introduced him, and he like, Ellie? And she like, Marcus? Marcus is Omar Epps. And she like, oh my God. And the boss, she kind of like looking like, I knew all black people knew each other. Like, what are the odds that these niggas know each other? So they just hugging and stuff. They go out in the hallway and they just talking. And it was kind of already a little suspicious from the get-go, because she was kind of being extra flirty to have been married. You know what I'm saying? Like, she didn't mention her husband, like, when he asked for an update. So he was like, let's go get dinner or something like that. So she was like, okay, I'm gonna invite Courtney. Courtney is her best friend that works at the job with her. It's a white woman. So it's supposed to be a trio. They get to the spot. Courtney not even there. Courtney counseling on their ass. So it's just her and Omar. Well, her and David. It's just Ellie and David. which is red flag number one. You married, bro. And this man was like blatantly flirting with her, and she wasn't like pushing him off or nothing. She was like, but you know, it could. I ain't giving her no slack because I don't condone cheating. But it seems as though she was just kind of excited to finally get attention from a man, because I feel like maybe her husband stopped giving her attention or something. So David is like shooting his shot from the 3-point, the free throw. Like, he shooting his shot from another court, and he just and she just like, all right, you know, if we keep sitting here having drinks, people are gonna start talking. So she's like, let's go to this club. You know what I'm saying? And he then confessed that I knew you worked at the firm. Like, I knew you worked at that firm when I took the interview. That was a red flag. Like, how you remember me 20 years? We haven't spoken in 20 years, and you just so happen to get contacted by my firm and see or know that I worked there, and was like, I wouldn't mind having her back in my life. Like, that was weird, but she didn't take it that way. She was like, oh. That was red flag number one. That nigga was crazy. That was red flag number one, if she would have been paying attention. So they get to the nightclub and they dance, and they like all up on each other, like how he was with Gabrielle Union in Love and Basketball, like all up in her dress. And so then they start looking at each other like, that little seductive look. They like, so they rush to the bathroom like they about to fuck. So he started taking her clothes. He pulled her panties off. He get to unbuckling his pants, and she like, no, we can't do this. She get up and walk away. I was like, they was like this close, like this her part and this his part, and they was like, no, I can't do this, and she just gets up and walk away. So she started ignoring him. I ain't gonna lie. He texted her trying to make sure she good and all that. She started ignoring him and trying to work on her marriage. They're preparing for her daughter to come down for fall break, so she started being friendly with her husband again, just, you know, I guess trying to make up for what she did without saying or apologizing, because I guess she started feeling guilty. So David's not happy with that. He don't like being ignored. She's ignoring the nigga. She ends up going to her new job. They end up moving, and her husband happy. They smashing. They loving each other. They preparing for her daughter to come down. She ends up running into David after she talks to Courtney, because Courtney went on like a coffee break. And she's like, I know you missed the job. And she's like, no, I'm good. And David ends up popping up, and he kind of confronts her like, what's up? You ain't been returning my calls, nothing like that. And she's like, David, I'm married. And she drives off. She don't hear from David. You know what I'm saying? They live in their life. She don't hear from David. They live in their life. She then invites Courtney over for dinner, and David is Courtney's guest. And she do the typical stupid thing that you can do. David reaches his hand and said, hi, I'm David, nice to meet you. And in front of her husband, she said, I'm Ellie, nice to meet you. That's when you're supposed to confront them, like, why you in my house? Just go and cut it right there. Because the more you prolong it, the more dangerous that it gets. She has already cheated, but now this nigga in your house, where you and your husband, you and your husband's sanctuary. You know what I'm saying? And he's sitting with your best friend acting like he interested in her just so he can see you. She confronted him in the kitchen. He like, man, we can make this work. Come on, baby, please, please. She like, find you an excuse and get the fuck out of my house. Sorry. Tyler Perry, if you watching this. So she tell him to get out. He get out. She later goes and meet him at a dinner, like at a restaurant, just ducked off. And he, cause he sent her like a old album, I guess, that they could relate to back in college. And she was like, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave my family, leave my best friend alone. So he hit the table. He like, who the hell are you talking about, Deborah? And she like, Deborah is his ex-wife, which we later found out that his ex-wife, Deborah, is the woman that was killed in the beginning of the movie that was having sex with the man. So he said, who are you talking about, Deborah? And she gets up. She's just like, leave us alone. She don't hear from him. You know what I'm saying? And she started getting crazy, man. He started literally texting her like they're still talking, like, I'm still thinking about you and all that. Mind you, he's an IT tech. Like, he's a professional hacker. So he turned her best friend on her because he reverted the messages that he sent her to messages that she sent him. So now her best friend is believing you came on to him. It was so hard for him to tell me that you wanted him and you don't care about your marriage. Leave him alone. He's been through enough. Oh my gosh. So just like typical women, she chooses the man over her best friend. She don't believe Ellie. Courtney then runs out and she kind of cuts Ellie off when Ellie tries to go to her about David. She's just trying to warn your ass. His ex-wife dead and he won't leave me alone. But you so sprung off that dang-a-line that you gonna die for. You gonna die for it. But the one thing in the movie that I could critique, I wouldn't have been chasing that lady like that. I'd have been like, Courtney, alright, you ain't hear me? You choosing the nigga over me? Let him do what he gonna do to you. Bye. Sometimes you gotta let people make the bed they lay in. You know what I'm saying? So she goes ahead and confesses to her husband when she finds out that David's ex-wife is dead, and that they also find out from a college friend that he had a massive crush on her. Like, Ellie never even paid attention to the point that David always wanted her. And so when she chose Marcus in high school, it hurt him. And the lady was like, his ex-wife even looks a lot like you. Like, he never stopped loving you. So she confessed to her husband because, you know, David basically a whole killer out here. Like, from what she's thinking, from the evidence that she got, David a killer. So let me go and tell my husband him with the oopsie scoop. But she told her husband a day too late. No, her husband's not dead, but her husband had recently went on a golfing trip with David that David set up. And he was just trying to get to know her husband, you know, get to know what kind of man he is. And he even seemingly looked like he was about to kill her husband until someone stopped it at the golf course. So she tells her husband, of course he's hurt. He's like, damn, like, you ain't respect our marriage. You could have told me you was feeling unloved or you was feeling unwanted or you wanted me to do this. You could have told me. Instead, you went to this motherfucker, and this motherfucker was in my house. Like, I'm laughing with this nigga. I done hung out with him. He ate my food, like, sat at my table, shook my hand. So they get a little dry, but just like a typical movie, they you know, seemingly get over it. So now she's calling Courtney still, saying that she has evidence and stuff like that because she broke into David. Ellie then breaks into David's apartment, and she see that he's like got so many pictures of her that he's been taking her, like from his wife to her, and he's just been stalking her. So she called Courtney, and right when Courtney seems that she believed her over the phone and she started acting weird, David kills Courtney. I think David kills Courtney, or he knock her out, one or the other. But because I don't remember seeing her no more after he knocked her out. So she then is like, you know, David's basically telling her, like, I'm coming for you. You know what I'm saying? So he comes for them, of course, on some villain type shit. Like, if you've watched Netflix, or if you've watched a movie like The Perfect Guy with Michael Epps, or Michael Ealy, or like one of those movies where it's like the perfect man comes in and then he switch up, it's just like that. Like, it's a struggle, it's a fight. David is whooping her husband ass, bro. Just mean. Like, her husband can't fight. So her husband sends their daughter to go get help because David is a problem at this point. David got hands. David is smooth. Her husband just just knock her husband out, and she helping her husband fight. So then David gets away before the police come, and he goes to a beach and he commits suicide. What a lot of people didn't pay attention to in that movie was, I knew off rip that man ain't commit suicide, because when he went to the beach, it was a homeless black man sleeping right there. And I felt like they were showing us that homeless black man for a reason. He committed suicide. It was a fake attempt. It was fake. He actually killed that homeless man, burned him up. He burned him up, and they identified him by his teeth. But David confessed to everything. He confessed to killing his wife and her boyfriend. He confessed to stalking her and all that. So they're supposed to be like free. You know, she was sad, but they're supposed to be like free. No. David come back with a vengeance. He comes back with a vengeance. And David sends her a text through her assistant. Was like, you know, come to the office and all that. As soon as she left, he called her. You left them, meaning her wife, her husband, and her daughter. She calls the detective. He's still alive. La, la, la. Y'all know the rest. They fight. David ends up getting killed. Her husband live happily ever after. I personally didn't like the movie. It was a cool 5 or 6 out of 10 because I feel like I've seen the movie so many times. Like, they could have changed something. It could have been like, I would have appreciated it more if, like, she found out that her husband and David had an affair or some shit. Or they found out David, like, I don't know. It just was, like, too predictable. But it's called Fatal Affair on Netflix. It's pretty predictable in my opinion. But if you want to watch it for yourself, it's Fatal Affair on Netflix. It's starring Nia Long and Omar Epps. I give that shit a cool 5 out of 10, man. Just because I'm giving it that rating along. Like, it wasn't a good movie, but I'm giving it some respect because of the people that was in it. So, shout out to Nia Long and Omar Epps, man. Y'all still in this industry after a decade or so. Still looking, you know, like y'all selves. But Fatal Affair on Netflix, check it out. My verdict is, I'm gonna give it a low C. A low C. That's the grade I get this movie. Thank you, man, for tuning into this video. Thank you guys for, you know, clicking the videos, man. I genuinely appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. I'm like, it's humbling watching my channel grow. Slowly but surely. I appreciate all the love. I appreciate all of it. I would never forget the come up that I'm having to do. But if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, that post notification bell. I'll be back with some more content, man. More reactions, some pranks, more vlogs, all that. All that is coming your way, so prepare yourself. Peace.